The NFL draft is here, so let's look at 5 moves you need to be making before Thursday. Number 1, to me it's simple. Solidify your rookie tiers. This is going to help you not overreact to draft capital, not overreact to landing spots. Ideally, this gives you a baseline for how you feel about most of the rookies coming into the draft. The reason I love having tiers set up ahead of time is when guys land with the Chiefs, the Bills, right? The fantasy friendly teams that we're thinking about, it helps me kind of keep takes or rankings in check. For me, typically, I'm not moving players up in a tier because I like their landing spot. I will move players up or down in a tier if they land with draft capital I didn't actually expect to happen, right? If a guy ends up getting taken in the first round that I thought, is maybe a day 2 player, okay, that is warranted to bump them up a tier or 2 even potentially. Now, if there's a guy like that I think could go on day 2 but doesn't and actually falls to day 3, that's another reason to move them down a tier. So typically it helps keep things in check a little bit. And that's important this time of year with hype flying around on Twitter, on ESPN, wherever you're consuming draft content. This helps keep you centered. Building on that, for number 2, it's capitalize on the rookie hype. Take those late second round picks, those third round picks, and try to buy productive veterans, right? If you're a competitive roster, this is the time to flip those picks. So I'm talking go get guys like Christian Kirk or Deontay Johnson, Chris Godwin even, or, if you want to go to the running back position, look at Joe Mixon, Derrick Henry, James Conner, the running backs that are out there that are going to be immediate producers for veterans. If I can get any of them for second or third round picks, to me, that's a good deal because they are going to provide you guaranteed value, guaranteed production that a rookie might not give you. So that's, for me, like one of the biggest things this time of year. There are going to be guys in your leagues that lose their minds over rookie picks. Go watch Addison's rookie hit rate video. That gives you a good sense of truly how big these dart throws are once you get to the second or third round. That is a huge, huge piece of it. And the better dynasty teams, the teams that are consistently competitive, they don't just rely on those dart throw picks. They are getting production out of them by turning them into veterans that people just don't really care about at this point. So capitalize on the hype because trust me, there are going to be a lot of people that just flat out overvalue these picks. Now, with that being said, number 3 is kind of not necessarily the opposite, but understanding if you're competing or rebuilding. That is going to dictate whether you are, buying these dart throw picks or selling them. If you're competitive, flip the picks, right? They're not really going to help you all that much. If you're competitive, I'm even looking to flip the top end picks, right? Picks in the first round. Happy to move them because I want proven assets that are going to continue to contribute to a title. Now, I'm not buying old wide receivers, older guys, 29, 30, 31 years old with first round picks. But if I can give up any pick in the first and use them in a package to go get a guy like, an Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, any of these players that are firmly in their competitive window, I think that is worth it. To me, that is always worth it. So understanding if I'm competitive is huge. And on the flip side, if I am in that rebuilding mode, I'm happy to go and trade for these dart throw picks. I want to stockpile those for aging players, right? If I'm not being competitive right now, I care about Christian Kirk less. I care about Deontay Johnson. All the names we just listed in move number 2, I care about that much less. So I'm much more inclined to actually take the dart throw picks. Again, this is why Dynasty's fun because there is value on both sides, whether you're rebuilding or you're competing. It just depends how you get that value. So for me, rebuilders, flip the veterans, try to get picks this year, or if you even got to go to 2025, that's fine too. And that brings us to move number 4, which is look for 2025 picks in your trades right now, because this is the cheapest they are going to be until we draft this time next year. In 2025, those picks obviously going to skyrocket in value, and they're guaranteed to gain value. So when I'm trading back, when I'm trading veterans, do not be afraid to take on picks that aren't immediate. A lot of people won't do that because they want the instant gratification. Like that's understandable. But look how excited you are about your 2024 picks right now. You're going to feel the exact same way in 2025. You're going to feel the same way in 2026. buying future picks when they are discounted and it's not, that draft's quote unquote year, that is a good way to stay competitive, to stockpile assets that are guaranteed to gain value. So these are things you need to keep in mind when you're making all those trades. And to close us out, move number 5, identify the players that are at risk to get sniped or get ruined, quote unquote, in the NFL draft. If they're on your roster, this is a great time to trade them. Again, it helps you be risk averse. Now, like with running backs specifically, it can be great to hold on to these running backs that might survive the draft because, hey, maybe you have a great running back next year, right? Think guys, Zach Moss, Chase Brown, think J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, now in LA, weirdly enough, or even Zamir White. Players that if they survive the draft, great, probably have decent value or solid value even. But that's a risk. That is a huge risk. Find somebody that's willing to give you picks for them now, or, other players that are just potentially safer, and get away from the, having to sweat that out, because a lot of the times it's just not worth it. Same goes at the wide receiver position, right? If you're holding on to guys like Rashad Bateman, Jameson Williams, anybody that's on the Bills from a wide receiver standpoint, yes, the Bills may not take a guy in the first. If they do, those guys are absolutely nuked. And realistically for Dynasty, they're probably one-hit wonders. Like they're going to give you 1 year of value if they survive the draft this year. So why not flip them and capitalize on a different dart throw that just might be safer or probably has a better path to production this year without the NFL draft just absolutely screwing up their value. So think about that while you're making trades and assessing your rosters right now.